Hi everyone and welcome, my name is Dora and this is my 5th update to Pan That Palette in Order. Pan That Palette was created by Amber F, Pan That Palette in Order was created by Taylor. I am working on the ABH Riviera palette that I got from Ruth, and I'm doing this project in collaboration with Ravneet this year, so make sure you check out everyone else who I've just mentioned. I've linked all of them in the description box below. At the beginning of the year I had 9 pans still left to hit in this 14 pan eyeshadow palette. And at my last update, I shared a new pan with you, an Inheritance in that gold shimmer, and that was the last shadow that I needed to hit pan on in order to complete the first row. The first shadow on the second row already had pan, Estate. It actually looks like it's a bit of a rusty issue there going on in the pan. But yeah, maybe once I've hit pan and everything, I'll try and expand the pans and then figure out that issue. But yeah, that's for future me to look at. I shared with you that I had one use in Cabana in that mustardy matte shadow on the second row. And today I've got pan in Cabana. Yay. I've also got a really nice dip here in Coastline. I'm very close to hitting pan, but yeah, just not quite there yet. I did hope a little bit that I'd be able to hit pan in Coastline in today's look, but that didn't happen. I think if I compare the two, Cabana and Coastline, since, you know, top row, at least Sales is the only matte in the top row, but that already had pan, but all the shimmers were obviously a lot easier to hit pan in. And to compare Coastline to how long it took me to hit pan in Cabana, I've still got 3 more uses before I potentially hit pan in Coastline. Maybe sooner, we'll find out next time. I'm still gonna go through the uses one by one. I think that might be interesting. Let's bear in mind though, this palette was a declutter, so I don't know how many uses Ruth had already given it. I did inherit a pan from her in Mediterranean, that last shimmer there. And I also hit pan on my own in some of the other shadows as well, and I don't necessarily remember, and I didn't even track it for all of them. Yeah. But yeah, from this project though, in Yacht, it took me 14 uses to hit pan in it. Seychelles took me 9 uses to hit pan in. Palermo took me 10 uses. Seaside already had pan, and then Inheritance just 5 uses. Cabana, I had 1 use last time, like I said. I needed to use it 18 more times for a total of 19 uses in order to hit pan. With Coastline, including today's look, I'm at 16 total uses now. And I dipped into these last 3 shadows that don't have pan yet a little bit as well. Not necessarily over the past month, but I'm tracking everything in here. So, you know, as of this moment, I've got 2 uses in Bahamas, 1 use in Monte Carlo, and 2 uses in Palm as well. Here's a swatch of Coastline. So this is the one that I'm currently working on, where I'm so close. So I'm wearing this on my lids today, and I've combined it with my Pan That palette and with the Mercury Retrograde palette by Huda Beauty as well. So I've got Coastline all over the lid, and then I've got a little bit of Wild. I'm gonna swatch it because I don't necessarily want to show you my Pan That palette. I've got a very light layer of Wild over the lid as well. And then I've got Bitter in the outer corner, again from my Pan That palette, Barry and Black Cherry. And then I used the topper shadow from Huda Beauty, Mercury Retrograde. I'm gonna show you this one. I used Supernova as a topper shadow. It's got a beautiful sort of pink to peachy flip to it. I have absolutely enjoyed this look, and I took all 3 of these palettes, the only 3 palettes that I took with me on a recent trip. And this specific look was a look that I did quite a lot. Hence I've got, you know, 18 more uses in Cabana and then 16 more uses in Coastline. I really worked hard on my Pan That palette since my last update. So yeah, that's the look today. I did also use Utopia a little bit to blend out the crease, and that's from Mercury Retrograde. It's quite similar to Coastline here, but I would say it's more pigmented and a little bit more vibrant, a little more pinkish leaning, but they are very similar. I'm now going to show you a couple more looks. So sticking with Coastline, a few days ago I did a very similar look to this also with Wild on top of the lid, on top of Coastline. So these two as a base. I also used a tiny little bit of glacé from my Pan That palette on top of that as well, just to blend these three all together. So this one first and then these two on top. And then I used, again, Bitter in the outer corner. And then I used Gold Glitch from Mercury Retrograde as a topper shadow. And I'll give you a swatch of that one as well. So that's here. I'm just, yeah, I've really been enjoying this sort of look, actually. And the different sort of iterations that I'm doing of this look. Especially in combination with the Mercury Retrograde palette. I think it works quite nicely with what I've got going on down here that I'm working on. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit scared of Bahamas. I love a pink, don't get me wrong, but I've also got a very fluorescent pink in my Pan That palette. So they're gonna be competing with each other. I'm so interested to swatch them out side by side so that we can compare them. So this is Bahamas ABH Pan That palette in order, and this is Pan That palette, the shade Juiced. They're very similar. The Juiced shadow has got more purple in there, more blue pigments, I would say. Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can maybe, you know, since this is gonna be soon, that I'm gonna have to start working on this shadow. And I've also made Juiced a focus shadow because I want to see some more progress on that shadow. Yeah, I'm sure I can combine them. One of them in the crease, one of them as a lid setting shade, and then other shimmer stuff on top. I'm sure I'll figure it out. Another thing I did today for the first time, I used Coastline, very lightly dusted and combined with Juiced. So with this one on my cheeks as a blusher, and I quite enjoyed that. One more look to show you, and that includes Cabana. I've swatched it out for you here. So this one, again, 19 uses for me to hit pan. And I did a look here in combination, again, with my Pan That palette, but also mainly with the Natasha Denona Ayana Quintet. I used Cabana all over the lid, and then Wild, again, lightly dusted on top. And then I used the darkest matte shade in the outer corner from the Ayana palette, and then the shimmer shade in the center on top of my eyelids, applied with a finger. And yeah, that's that. So this is what I've got. I'm sort of, you know, obviously very excited to be hitting pan in Coastline soon. I think it's imminent. Just 3 more uses, I think. Maybe 2 more, maybe 1 more. Bahamas is going to be a little bit tricky, but I think after that, Monte Carlo and Palm should be plain sailing to, you know, to come back to the analogy of Riviera here. So that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you check everyone out who I've linked down below. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. And other than that, I hope you have a lovely rest of your day or night, wherever you are. And I'm sending you so much love. Take care.